welcome to another episode of the playonultra podcast. This is episode 211.
Woo!
11.
11sies.
So, Happy New Year, I guess.
Happy New Year. It is
Happy
2024. And every American is going, oh, God, no. That's fine.
Election year.
Election year.
Was it like this for y'all too? Like, when you were much younger, teens, tweens, kids, like, the New Year felt like an event, and now it's just like, it's just like it's next week. Like, it's just...
Yeah, I know. Yeah, definitely as a kid, it was like, oh, man. It never felt like...
When you had more vacation time, I think.
For sure.
True.
Yeah.
But I also didn't really do anything for the New Year's, but it just felt like a thing, you know?
Yeah, I usually
kids are just
saw
stupid,
friends,
I guess.
but yeah, I know for me, because my life really revolved around school. It didn't feel like anything new with school. Like September felt like a new year because of school, but it was definitely like the half year point for me.
Do you all go to school in December?
We just usually
Parts
had
of
like
December.
we just had like 2 weeks off.
Yeah.
We usually get like a month off for December.
Oh, okay. We usually get like
it's like the end of the school year, basically.
We get like a month off over the course of the whole year.
Yeah. It's actually our colleges usually work with it being semester ending, but actually normal American schools, at least in where I'm from, kind of suck. It's not the end of the semester when it's the holidays. The end of the semester is the middle of January. So in high school, it would really suck because we would have like stupid projects and stuff due like during the break, and then we'd come back, and then like 2 weeks later was exam week.
Yeah.
It was the worst. I hate that they do that. Colleges have it differently, but it's just because of how in my state how the school years are run and the rules about that. It's really annoying. But anyway, I'm an adult, so I don't have to worry about exams.
Stupid ass kids. And it's like, and for us, it's super easy to see them because they have to wear uniforms. So you'll be going to the mall. And then he'd be like, still gotta go to school, dumbasses.
Suckers. You're just not old enough. It's not your fault, but you're a sucker.
But they also experience happiness still, and we don't.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Oh, jeez.
But I did not enjoy my high school days, to be really honest. No.
Definitely not.
They were fine. I loved my college years.
I survived.
Yeah, high school. I think I had the better
fun just for friends. Like that's it.
Yeah, I think high school. I think I didn't have the worst high school high school experience ever, but it was not my favorite. I was very glad. Like the stupid people that'd be like, "This is your peak." I'd be like, "I hope not."
I'm really glad high school wasn't my peak.
Same.
I'm really glad I'm not.
Oh shit, man.
A
lot of stupid shit.
So yeah, what did y'all do over the New Year's?
I finished a game.
Wow.
Is it like Dragon's Age or something?
It
was Dragon Age!
Wow, that's a big game.
It is a big game.
Dragon Age Origins, this game. I've explained why I've never finished Dragon Age Origins, right? My first time actually finishing the game. I've explained my sad story, right, about why I never finished this game when I was a kid. Did I ever explain this to y'all?
I feel like yes.
I feel like I'll remember it when you say it, but I can't remember it now.
Yeah.
All right,
Exactly.
I'll try to go real quick. So I played this game around the same time I was playing Mass Effect. They came out, I think, only a couple years from each other, and I had played BioWare games, so like I knew what I was getting myself into. But when I first booted up the game and started playing it on the Xbox, you get the game. For those of you who don't know, there's 3 classes you can play as: Mage, Warrior, Rogue. I played Rogue because that's my favorite class in a lot of these kinds of games. And I tried playing it, and I got stuck in like one of the first areas in like this kind of just nobody battle. I could not win, and I was really frustrated. And my brother and his asshole friend, he's not friends with him, not because of this situation, but they're just not friends anymore. But his asshole friend was like, well, Sarah, you chose all the wrong abilities in your level up, which, by the way, has become my greatest fear in now any game I play. Anyway, so I was like, well, what do I do? And he was like, you have to start over. I went, oh, okay. So I started over and I tried picking the right abilities, got a little bit farther, and then was stuck again. And this time I was like, okay, this is frustrating. By the time I kept trying to play this, I think Dragon Age 2 was out, Mass Effect 2 was out. I was like, fine, I give up. So I stopped playing. And then a couple of years went by, and I was like, why did I never finish this game? And my brother goes, oh, so Rogue is, like, impossible to play on normal mode in that game? And I went, oh, I would have liked to know that. So I started playing with Mage. And really, what just happened there was I was playing this game when, like, Dragon Age 3 was coming out on, like, my dinky Xbox 360 while in college. And I got pretty far, but then I moved, my life kind of went upside, and we got the game on Steam for me, so on the computer, because I wasn't going to put my Xbox back together. And then it was like, oh, I have to start over again. And this time we had mods. I was going to play on easy mode because I have no care of that stuff anymore. And so, yes, I finally finished the game as a rogue, as intended, on easy mode. And here we are. I'm now playing Awakening. Which mod? There's a bunch of mods. I don't know the names.
Graphic mods and stuff?
No, I was mostly, well, kind of. It was really more actually just like hot fixes and stuff like that. Like actually trying to, there's some balancing issues. There's some item quest issues, and the game is not perfect. It just fixes a lot of like just basic bugs that have been in that game for a long time. I also, what else? Oh, the main change I got that I was very happy about is my speed increased. When you're not in battle, like, it was like you got like a faster speed just walking around. That definitely was nice.
That sounds nice.
That's
so,
very
like,
nice.
I played Mage, so Mage had a lot of, like, AoE magic skills.
Oh,
so
yeah.
I was spamming that shit whenever there's battles, and then after playing quite a bit of it, I learned that there's actually friendly fire that you can turn on. And I'm like, fucking hell, that's like, nah.
Yep. That's why people were saying, like, if you want to kind of play the easy mode, play a mage and turn off friendly fire. Because the game is meant to be with friendly fire with mages. It's otherwise, like, as a mage, you are so powerful without friendly fire.
Does Baldur's Gate 3 have friendly fire?
It does have friendly fire, but the main mage, it's pretty easy to get, like, spell shaping, spell sculpting.
Yeah.
So, like, you don't have friendly fire with that character with his spells.
Yeah.
So you kind of, like, turn it off, basically.
Yeah, basically you just, it's easy to kind of get around it. Honestly, the worst kind of friendly fire I had to deal with in Baldur's Gate 3 was I was a ranger that was a beastmaster, and I used, one of the best beasts to use was the Raven because it could blind people. But one of its abilities was when it used fly as opposed to normal movement. And Baldur's Gate 3 movement's kind of wonky, and so things that can fly is really good because they can kind of get around anything and go wherever you want them to go. And so I would constantly have it fly around, but as it got a higher level ability, anytime it lands from flying, it basically sends a darkness spell out. And that is not immune to friendly fire because... So I would just have it flying
like
around. No, like it landed and make like a cloud of darkness around it. And that was a problem. Okay. Yeah, that was a problem because I would land it like next to an enemy, which it could attack, which is fine, but none of my other people could attack the enemy because it was in a cloud of darkness. I was like, damn it, why can't I turn this off? So yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 has its own funky things you have to watch out for. But it's fun. But yes, I finished Dragon Age Origins.
Elf?
No, I actually decided to. I usually would, but I decided to do the human noble, because I was going to romance Alistair. So I was like, I'll just do the best ending with that one.
Are you playing 2 now?
I am playing Awakening first, and then I'll be playing 2.
Which one's Awakening? Is that 3?
No, Awakening was like a DLC, but standalone game basically that came out.
Focusing on Morgan, right?
Yeah,
I love that one. So good.
Yeah. It's a popular one. Normal, like, depending on the endings you do, you're either playing a different character or your own. But I went through with the Morgan deal, which, like, if you don't, the story is kind of stupid.
I love that one because I romanced Morgan. She was.
Oh, did you? Yeah. Finally get to see her back. Yeah, I know. I feel bad for people who romance her because she's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
I'll take your baby. I gotta go.
Yeah, it was that. Yeah, it was just like that, like tough love type of thing that, like, it was just so
the tsundere.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. I get it. I know. I know about it. But yeah, no, I'm going to be playing Awakening first, and then I'll be able to play 2, which 2, I already kind of know the story of 2 because like I watched it in front of me, but I refused to play it because I was like, I have to finish 1 first, so I'm not going to play it, but I'll watch it. So no surprises with 2. I'll probably get through it pretty quickly because it's not a lot of people
have changed how they felt about 2 because 2 had like sort of not so great reviews. Because 2... it came after 1 because of like it's a bit more linear and all that. But people are like looking at the writing and the story like, you know what, it's actually pretty good. It's just the changes from 1 was quite drastic and everybody was taken aback from it. Basically.
Yes, I agree with you. I agree in that's what I've noticed too. Because when 2 first came out, I didn't hate it because I loved Mass Effect 2, and I could tell that's what they were emulating, and I was having issues with Dragon Age 1. So I was like, oh, well, I'm glad they changed it. But I was even kind of like, wow, this is different. Like, this is not Dragon Age. And also, when it came out, there were a lot of bugs that like, Dragon Age Origins had bugs, but the bugs in 2, because I remember when it came out, were, like, really irritating. Like, one of the biggest bugs was that one of your companions, if you remember, for those who don't know, Dragon Age 2 had a really interesting companion like system, way better than Dragon Age 1. And basically it was all about it was friendly versus rival, and so it was all about like, it didn't really matter if your people agreed with you or not, just that they had to feel something about you, and that's what you wanted them to be. And there was a huge bug where with one of your party members who could leave at a certain point in the game if your like affection meter in one direction wasn't high enough. But she had a bug where you could not, the friendly thing, no matter how high your friendly score was, she was going to leave anyway. So for people who first played the game, who liked this character, they had to purposely do like asshole things to get a rival up just so she wouldn't leave the party. It was really stupid.
Honestly, for me, Dragon Age 3 is the weakest for me, personally.
I'm interested to see that, yeah. I feel like I'm going to like Dragon Age 3 because I feel like it's going to be a better mix for me, but it may not. I think they tried to do kind of a mix of both concepts, but I could see how it wasn't the best for everybody.
I felt like the characters and the writing is probably the weakest. I could be remembering wrong. Plus the starting part of the game where it's like an open world MMO, that's not the best. It's really boring.
Yeah, that's fair. It's interesting. Based on some of the things I've heard about some of the characters, I don't know. I'll have to see for myself. I know some things. But for sure, I think there was one character that I'm not sure if they really knew the direction they were going to go with and decided to make her just really hard to work with. But that's okay. But either way. But yeah, I am on my way to get through it. I'm not really doing this for Dragon Age 4 because honestly, I don't have a whole lot of confidence in Dragon Age 4 given everything that's come out about it. So we'll see. I'm doing this for myself. I need to get somewhere.
BioWare is no longer BioWare. It's just what it is. Yeah.
No, I know. It's gone, but that's okay. Yeah. Maybe something else. I mean, I'm pretty happy with what Larian's doing. I should maybe play some of their other games or wait for them to make more.
Well, I really like the Dragon Age world, though. That's the thing. Like, yeah, it's whatever. I know. Guess. We have the 3 games we can replay, I suppose.
Yeah, for sure. They got replayability. Play a different origin, especially if you're gonna replay 1.
Did you finish Baldur's Gate 3?
Asking me?
Yeah. Did any of you finish Baldur's Gate 3?
Yeah. I finished it a while ago. Oh. I had started a second playthrough of the Dark Urge, which is kind of a specialized playthrough, but I haven't finished it yet. I started doing other stuff. But yeah, I did actually finish it a couple months ago. So they're still making updates. So
I thought of buying it, but like, I was like, I'll probably get it when I actually have time to like really focus on it. Yeah.
It's a time sink for sure. It's a time sink.
When you can pick up and put down easily.
Yeah, no.
Not easily, yeah.
And I'm kind of hopefully this year the plan is to upgrade my laptop.
Yeah, I would definitely maybe wait till your laptop is upgraded. This game's I mean, they've really tried their best, but it's still just...
It's still a pretty game. So I looked at it, I was like, I don't think my laptop can play a lot of this well, efficiently. So And I kind of didn't really want to get a PS5 version just because, like, if we ever want to play online, I don't want to pay fucking for the PlayStation Plus subscriptions. Fuck that.
Yeah. I totally get it. Also, if you're into mods, they're very mod friendly, and there's a lot of fun mods too.
It's an old school CRPG. The C standing for computer, and
yep, it is.
So it just feels kind of weird to play on the console. I know it's weird.
No, it's okay. I get it.
It's the same feeling I have when I play Japanese RPGs on my PC.
Interesting.
This was a console thing. I always played it on consoles, and then I'm playing it on PC. And like, it's a bit weird.
Yeah.
Such a first world problem thing. Yeah, that's whatever.
That's okay. I mean, hey, you have the choices. You do you. This is not like you being picky about a need. You're being picky about games. Who cares?
And it's not like the PlayStation 5. I could get the like collector's edition or whatever. I think that one is like you can only get it from their website. I believe it comes with like maps or something, which is pretty cool. I like that because I have the PC collector's edition for Dragon Age Origins, and it comes with like a cloth map. It's so nice.
That's cool. Back when those things were good, right?
Oh yeah, back when they actually gave you physical shit.
I know.
And it comes with discs too, so what a concept.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I've heard good things about the collector's edition for this one, and you can get like a physical copy too, which I had to laugh because people were mad about that. They're like, wait, now you're making physical copy? It's like, guys, they've been transparent about this for a minute about when the dates of these things were happening. You're gonna buy it, aren't you?
Big studio, like, yeah.
No. I mean, they're big, but they're not big. They're not AAA. Certainly not. It makes me interested in playing on their other games, but I have heard that, like, because one thing about Baldur's Gate 3 is their UI is really not that great, and I hear their other games, they're even worse, so I'm like, oh no. But the story, and it's so pretty, and the character interactions are all really fucking good, so.
I heard Divinity 2 is quite different. I have it. I played it for like a couple hours.
It's different.
Yeah. I've heard good things about it, but I've never played it.
But it's one of those games where it's like, I'm not so sure, but I feel like you probably should do some reading before like you fuck up your run kind of thing. I don't know.
That's fair.
And I'm not sure if I have the mental capacity to do that.
I feel like Divinity rolls less smoothly with your decisions. Like Baldur's Gate, like, you know, you can kill a whole city and move on. Divinity, you might softlock yourself if you tried that, I feel like.
But what about like...
I didn't finish the first act of Divinity 2, so I can't say for sure.
But what about like fucking up your character build? Can you like...
Are you talking about Baldur's Gate 3 or Divinity?
Divinity 2.
Okay, I can't speak about that.
Yeah, because it's a lot more choices. Like Baldur's Gate and Dungeons and Dragons, there's not too many choices you have to make in leveling up. There's like feats are kind of the only one, because you can like re-choose new spells, and if you even have it as an option.
And you can retrain for gold.
Yeah, very cheaply.
And Divinity 2 is not D&D based, right? It's their own thing?
Not as explicitly or specifically.
Is it based on something, or is it like just their own rule set?
I don't know that it's based on anything. Could be wrong. Okay.
So that's the thing. Like I've heard from people who played the game that you probably should do some reading before, like, figure out what kind of character you want, know how to build it properly. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't want to do research before I play something. It's just...
I totally get that. I'm one of those people where, like, I appreciate the warning because I will do that anyway with things, because I get really paranoid about that stuff, mainly because of what happened to me in Dragon Age Origins, by the way. So, like, for me, it's at least appreciative to know. But you're right. It's actually the only reason I played Baldur's Gate 3 was a friend of mine bought it for me unexpectedly for like a late birthday present, and I genuinely, because when I heard it was coming out, I was like, oh, I'm going to take way too much time figuring out what I want to do. I'm going to wait, and I surprisingly didn't. And I mean, I played slowly, but I got through it, and I'm glad I did, because I was able to kind of be on the boat with everybody. But otherwise, I would have been doing the same thing. But it's good to know about Divinity 2 if I ever do play it, because I definitely would be worried about that.
Yeah, because I used to do that. I still am okay to do the research before playing, but I've heard Divinity 2, the options are quite a lot. So it's just... That's fair. Yeah, it's good to know before, jumping in, because like, gosh, that stuff takes so much mental energy and like anxiety and like choice paralysis to get through. Yep.
So, but yeah, That was the main thing I had. That was like I did a thing. I don't know. Been watching just a lot of random anime. I need to do things. Been watching random anime. Nothing like to write home about. Just random ones that I had intended to watch and never did. Trying to think of anything else that I did. I didn't see any movies. Trying to think if there was something else.
Oh, I watched.
I'm 14.
Did you watch The Boy and the Heron?
Probably not. No, but I've heard good things about it, so now I do.
Did anybody watch? Did you watch The Boy and the Heron?
I did.
Is it? How is it?
Did you watch was it English or Japanese voices?
I let a friend choose, and so we watched it with English dubbing.
Okay, so I watched the Japanese one. How did you feel about like Christian Bale and vampire
Robert
guy?
Pattinson?
Robert
Pattinson.
Yeah, Dave Bautista. It's a lot of fun. Just hearing people's voices.
Batista was in that. Damn.
Batista was the Pigeon King.
Oh right, yeah. Okay.
I didn't recognize him until I saw the card. I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know. The acting was fine. The movie was weird. Like I feel like
it was weird, yeah.
More than any other Miyazaki film, I struggled to be like, okay, this is clearly like symbolism, but I don't know what of.
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
interesting. Oh, okay, fair enough.
I read a couple of reviews after watching it, and it just gave me like renewed, a bit more like appreciation for like proper critique, because it's like, because you had to have a pretty intimate knowledge of Miyazaki's previous work to really appreciate The Boy and the Heron. I feel like I'm trying not to spoil anything, so it's just because it basically, in a nutshell, the criticism is saying like this is like his it's almost like a autobiography kind of thing.
Oh
yes, I've also read that.
It's like the characters are all representations of the different people in his life, and I think he's like supposed to be the boy. So it's also based off very loosely based off a novel, but extremely super loosely. So he adapted
as loosely as like Howl's Moving Castle. Got it.
As loosely as basically he just took the name or something. Like that's it.
Yeah.
So it's just like, I read these critiques, these reviews, and I'm like, this is a proper review. Like somebody who has intimate knowledge of like previous work, able to like, piece things together instead of just somebody turning on the camera and saying, good graphics. Like, it's just,
Yeah.
So it is weird.
So it might be a little over my head if I don't know like everything about his previous films.
I personally I do not have that kind of knowledge. I feel like you can enjoy the movie.
Okay.
You can definitely enjoy. I enjoyed the film, and not just because it is so pretty, but I do think it's hard to follow narratively sometimes. Like people are like, oh no, this is a bad thing. I'm like, why is it a bad thing? Or this, like the way scenes are sequenced is confusing sometimes narratively, but it's still very engaging the whole time.
Yep. Okay. And I feel like it's one of those movies where you can derive meaning from it, like.
Yeah, that's true. You can kind of put your own thing on there.
I'm sure a lot of people will have different. I'm not saying like those reviews have the only. What's the word I'm looking for?
Interpretation?
Yes. I'm saying like that one's a really good one that also provides historical context.
Yeah.
But I think it's also a good movie to watch, and you will be able to derive your own meaning from it. And a lot of people will have their own different meanings. So yeah, it's just good. Like definitely watch it.
I wonder if it's because is this like. I feel like I kept hearing that this was like his final film, but I don't even know if that's. I wonder if there's something. This is such a huge stretch, but there's an idiom in English called the swan song, which means like your final piece of something, your final like performance or piece, or kind of like the magnum opus kind of a thing. And it's just interesting because heron, swans. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I'll have to see.
Could be. If it's Kojima, he'd probably just call it Swan Song.
Exactly.
The Boy and the Swan Song. For confirm, I know it. Anyway, talk shit about Kojima so much. I don't know. I love his games. He's just worship way too much. I'm just trying to balance the scales a little bit.
I know. Listen, he needs to feel a little bad about himself. Got too many worshippers at his feet.
Yeah.
His ego's too high.
So yeah, that was a pretty good one. The whole heron with the weirdness that come out of the heron. That one's when they showed off in the beginning. That was like, Jesus, what the fuck? Because I completely avoided any marketing for the movie.
Oh,
so
okay.
when I saw that scene, I was like, what the fuck is happening?
I'd only seen the one trailer when I saw Godzilla -1.
I think I saw one trailer way early on because of the whole Robert Pattinson thing that came out about it, and I was like, what does he sound like? And I was like, I would have not recognized him. Because I heard him, like, that's got to be Mark Hamill or Willem Dafoe, who are both in the movie. Like, no, you're wrong. Nope. Apparently, the story goes, if you don't know this, that, like, I don't know if he got chosen or what, but apparently he, like, came into the studio, like, with video recordings on his phone. And he's like, listen, I have all these ideas. I was thinking, like, something like this, and just kind of, he went all out for it, because I think Robert Pattinson just wants to be like he's not necessarily trying to be be a real artist, but he wants to do something that's unique, I think, because he's been so typecasted as like a teen star for a while. And so he just kind of went all out for this.
Right?
I think so, yeah. I mean, before this, the only other movie I remember him being in was the Batman movie, which was quite good. I thought he did an excellent job in that movie.
A lot of people really like his Batman, so
it's very good.
The Lighthouse was good.
Yeah, I never saw that one, but I know, like, he knows what he's doing. So from what I understand, he got super excited for this role and went all out. So, good for him. I'm happy for him. Not that I was a Twilight person at all, but...
What did you do Did you finish any video games?
I did, actually. I played in one sitting yesterday. Is it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. I played through all of Manifold Garden.
Sounds familiar.
Which is like an Antichamber-esque first-person puzzle game. I'd say it's less abstract than Antichamber and more artsy, but like the main like mechanic is that the world repeats itself a lot. So like if you like
a stairs,
like it looks like you're in an infinite repeating space, but like really just looping back around. So like you can't jump, so like you can walk off the edge to fall to land on the next platform below you, which is a platform above you, because it's all the same kind of thing.
Is it as difficult as Antichamber?
No.
Okay.
I don't think so. Yeah, it was good. It was fun. It inspired me to pick up Cocoon, which I haven't played yet, but I think I'll play that next.
Oh yeah, that one's getting crazy reviews.
It's on sale right now. It's 30% off. Which is still, it's like $17 or something.
Sorry, when you said Cocoon, I was thinking, you guys
movie?
know... No, is it called Jade Cocoon? Anybody know this old PS1 game? All right, never mind. Don't worry about it.
I think so. You play a female protag with...
No, male protag who has a fiance, and it's like a weird bug Pokemon game.
Oh, yeah, I've definitely seen this one.
Yeah.
But the female protag one, I'm thinking of something else.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
Not the BioWare.
Yeah, not Jade Empire, right?
Not Jade Empire.
I love that game, but whoo, is it not aged well? It's a fun game to play, not a...
Yeah, but I've heard really good things about Cocoon.
Yeah,
like,
what is Cocoon?
Yeah. I have a friend who's really liking it right now, so I'm looking forward to that.
It's like
have you
a
played
puzzle
it yet?
game, or?
I installed it today. I bought it today and installed it today, but I haven't played it yet. Because right now, I want to record myself playing it. We'll see if that actually happens. No promises.
Yeah, I get that.
It's like a top-down adventure puzzle exploration game. Yeah, isometric.
Yeah, cool. Yeah.
And it's been getting like 2023's best indie game kind of thing. And it's like proper indie. So like not...
Yeah, an actual indie game.
Actually owned by a Korean multi-billion-dollar corporation and trying to pass off as indie. Jesus Christ. I'm still mad about that. Yeah.
I know, right? It's so stupid.
I also played through all of the campaign of Strange Brigade. I picked that up over the winter's sale because it was $5 on the winter's sale.
Did you play solo?
It was $5.
I did. Because it's not a good game. So it's like, other people should not play this game. Because I remember it looked interesting when it launched, because I like that kind of, it's not steampunk, but that kind of like Indiana Jones-esque setting. And I was like, it's way too expensive, and all the reviews are kind of bad. But I thought like the primary negative point was just like, it's not replayable. I thought people were like, it's a good game, it's just not replayable for a Left 4 Dead type game that should be, hinges
because
on
it's
being
supposed
replayable.
to be like a looter shooter sort of kind of.
Oh jeez, yeah.
Multiplayer co-op,
so they're right, it's not replayable, but it is also just a boring game because the main thing is in a Left 4 Dead or like a Vermintide type game, there are unique enemies, right? That like, oh, I gotta deal with this enemy or it'll blow up, or it'll basically like one-shot enemies that are interesting and kind of you have to react to them. There are there's nothing like that in Strange Brigade. Some enemies do shoot, some enemies melee, but for the most part, they're all just bullet sponges. It's not excessively spongy, but like, combat's just kind of a slog. It's like, you're in this room, just fight some guys until, you kill enough of them. And there's like booby traps around the room, but like none of it, you can't like place barrels or anything, so it's not, like, you don't really have any creative control over it. Like, I think I got my money's worth for $5, but it's a nearer thing than it should have been. So if you want to play it, Char, I will play it with you. It'll be fun to play with people.
Maybe.
But, I mean, because I beat it in like less than 8 hours. And for a $50
game... I didn't even know you could beat it solo, actually.
It's because, like, unlike Vermintide, there's no enemies that can one-shot you. So you can just kind of slog your way through it solo. And honestly, it might even be better solo because loot is not shared. Like, a big part of the game is, like, finding these little, like, puzzle rooms, these secret, like, puzzle rooms, and, like, getting extra loot, but the loot's not shared.
So meaning...
So it's just for all, like, whoever opens the box first gets it?
Yes.
Oh my god.
And it's supposed to be a 4-person co-op game.
We're like a 4-person. That's not co-op. That's as much co-op as, like, a Mario game.
Yeah.
It's a $50 game.
And there's DLC for it. That's another like 45 bucks or whatever. Yeah. And I was reading reviews because I was like, should I even add the DLC to my wish list? Because no way I'm paying full price for it. But should I even like bother playing more? And I don't think I will. But a big thing I did see is like all the DLC weapons are just straight up better than the main game weapons. And it's like, oh, of course they are.
Of course they are. Yeah, of course they are. Jeez.
Yeah. So that game's crazy.
Yeah.
I for $5, it's fine. It's fine. Definitely wouldn't recommend it though. And then the last game I played, which I didn't technically beat, but I'm nearing my like done point, is Against the Storm, because I thought you could beat Against the Storm, and you kind of can't. I mean, there is like a penultimate, like ultimate achievement type thing I could go for. Not really. I thought there was a campaign. So basically, the setting for the game is. Every like X years, a storm wipes the world clean, except for the Citadel, where the Queen lives. And so you are like the viceroy to the Queen, and in the calm times between storms, you're building out like these settlements, like further and further out, that's like supply lines, to get to these like runes. And when you restore the runes, it like increases the time between storms. So the world will get wiped clean, you can go further out than you did the previous time, because now you have this rune restored. And I thought, okay, cool. Like, I just do this like 4 or 5 times, and maybe I've cured the storms. Like, I beat the game in some way. That's not the case. Basically, there's like...
So there's a limited number of runes. Like, you can get all
There is a limited number of runes. So basically, like, to beat the game, you would have to do the rune that's like the equivalent of like hardest difficulty plus 20. Because like there's like 4 difficulties, and after that it's just like difficulty plus 1, prestige plus 1, prestige plus 2, prestige plus 3. And so I'm on prestige like plus 5 or 7. And it's like, I'm not going to go up to 20. Like, I'll still play this game occasionally, but like, I'm not going to commit to like beating the game on plus 20 difficulty. It's just going to be miserable for me.
So like, I'm not sure if this is something you can even answer. Like, how long is a playthrough?
Yeah. So, it I think depends. Like early on, I'd say, so each like turn is like a you're building your city, and your city has like goals that when you achieve, you beat the city and you go on to the next one. And so the number of the duration of time it takes for you to achieve those goals is how much time it takes until the next storm. So like you're trying to do these cities as fast as you can to get to the seal before like the big storm happens and wipes everything clean. So it's like I play on 3x speed just because I don't want to wait for things to take too long. So It's closer to an hour. It's not quite an hour. It's somewhere between 30 minutes and 60 minutes. Closer to like maybe 45, 50 minutes or so for me to complete these things. But I'm also not that fast. Because like I think if you're playing on difficulty, 20 or whatever, you need to be doing these cities in like under 6 years. And it takes me about 8 years of game time to do these things.
So it's not really an RTS, right? It's closer to
It's not at all an RTS.
It's closer to Civ?
It's
a base
real
builder
time.
with Civ. Oh, okay.
It's a base builder. So you build buildings. So you place you say hey, I want a woodcutter's camp to be built here. And then if you have any idle workers, they will go over and bring the resources over and they will build it. And then you can assign workers to the woodcutter's camp. And you can say hey, prioritize these trees or that kind of thing. Like you just build buildings near resources and the AI kind of figures it out. And you put like roads down and somebody will do it. So it's all about like managing priorities and like these kind of supply chain things. Like I have this building where this worker, he turns plant fiber into cloth. And over here in this building, this guy turns cloth into clothing or whatever. And maybe that clothing, it makes my workers happier, so they work faster, or maybe I sell the clothing because that's one of the goals I have for that city or whatever. So I really like the city building game part. The campaign part is kind of less interesting. And you do get resources after each city that you can spend at the Citadel for permanent upgrades, like everybody walks 2% faster, or unlock a new building type, because basically it's kind of RNG-ish, like what you can build, because like every I think it's so as like you progress towards like finishing the city, you hit these points where you give them like 3 options of blueprints to like learn how to build, and so you can get shafted to like, oh well, like I need a building that lets me produce coal, but I'm not getting it, so I gotta kind of pivot my strategy. So I got, what can I do to replace coal, or oil or whatever. So it's interesting. Again, I like the actual micro gameplay, but I kind of wish I got like the satisfaction of like a narrative to beat or something like that.
Like finishing the game or something. Yeah.
Because even if you beat it on like that +20 difficulty, there's no narrative reason. You just get like a Steam achievement. It's not like nothing happens in the game to really reward you for that. Yeah, but it's good. I still recommend the game. I've played it for like 34 hours, so I think it's good.
Oh, Sarah, you bought
yeah.
Slay the Princess?
Someone got it for me.
Nice. That one's on my wish list. It looks really interesting.
It looks really interesting. Yeah, I someone got it for me, I think, as a Christmas present this year.
Nice.
Yeah,
this looks like it's a visual novel. It looks like something you like.
Yeah, it's a visual novel with crazy twists and incredible art and animation design. I actually got 3 visual novels.
And apparently, like, one of the best parts of it is the narrator.
Yeah. I haven't watched. I was actually kind of glad someone got it for me because I was going to watch a Let's Play of it, quite frankly. And then I got that. I went. I've been kind of getting the itch to get back into streaming. The other podcast I was part of is kind of falling apart. So I've been like, should I go solo? Should I not? But obviously my wife does her thing, so it's hard to find time. But like that's a game that I feel like would be fun to to do. I got 2 other visual novels. One is called, what's it called? One's that musical visual novel I think I had mentioned before called like something with the gods.
Right, I remember talking about that.
Yeah, and then I got another one called it's a Japanese visual novel, but what is it called? Oh, I feel like it was called. Oh no, but I don't. Wait, where do I look at like what I bought?
Under your name, or is it? No, go to the top right. Steam, right? View my profile or account details or something. There's like a purchase history or something like that.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, where's my purchase history?
Oh, go to account details and then you should see view purchase history somewhere.
Okay. Oh, view purchase history. Here it is. Let's see. Stray Gods, the role-playing musical. We've talked about that before. And then I got something else called Fatal 12. It's a typical like Japanese JRPG. I was promised it was about lesbians though, but the other reason I bought it is the storyline. I don't know what you call this kind of storyline, but I'm obsessed with it. The whole like it's like a locked room mystery, but like also it's like 10 people are in a room, and one by one, they're either going to leave the game or get killed, and you have to solve the mystery of what's happening here. It's like one of those kinds of stories.
What's his name again? Like, the nine rooms and 9...
Oh, yeah, ZeroScape series, Danganronpa.
Danganronpa's one I think of.
Yeah, I think of ZeroScape series because I don't like Danganronpa. Anyway, I'm not going to get into it.
I don't know anything about it other than I voice acted in an indie animation for it a few times, but I don't know what it is.
Oh, no, it's fine. No, that's hilarious. There's nothing wrong. Actually, Danganronpa is very, very popular. There's nothing wrong with it. I have a few kind of twitches about it, but they're just personal gripes.
Is it a creator, like hate trans people or something? Is it that
No. It's actually nothing like that. It's really just my opinion of the story really itself.
Oh, okay. The actual canon stuff is creepy too.
Yeah, I mean, it deals with like high school students in kind of weird scenarios, and one of the reasons I kind of respected the Zeros, kind of course. Sometimes. But like it's just to me it's one of those stories where like they took a concept and they had it in one game, and I think they wanted to tell like a bigger tale about it. And obviously these games are ridiculous. ZeroScape series makes no fucking sense, and I love it. But like Danganronpa really tried to be, to me it felt like it was trying to be like anime edgy without full payoff, but I also never really like got to the ending, so I could be wrong. Like for instance, all the blood is pink because it's supposed to be kind of funny and talk about something. I think also part of my issue with that game is like there was definitely some grotesque stuff in ZeroScape series, but it was always treated, I felt, with like kind of a lot of respect. Danganronpa, like they have these ironic deaths for people when people do die, and it makes me sick. Like in the first game, somebody gets turned into butter. As their ironic death, and some people are really into that. To me, like, you can't laugh at it because it's supposed to be serious, but you also like aren't supposed to be too grossed out by it, and I just feel grossed out by it. So like it's just stuff like that. Not saying anybody shouldn't play it or it's not fun or what have you. Also, it's one of those games where to totally appreciate the full story, and this is why I dropped it. I played 1 and 2. They made a shooter game that was really important story-wise, but the gameplay sucked ass. And then they made an anime, and then they had game 3. And I was like, this is getting close to Kingdom Hearts. I'm done. So I've heard it's good, but I kind of lost interest. Someone else can yell at me. But anyway, I still like those kind of Saw-ish and then there were none kind of concepts. And Fatal 12 has a similar thing. You are somebody who dies, but then you're kind of in this like ghost world where like you all have to play this game, and whoever wins gets to come back to life. And that's where it starts. I have no idea if it's going to be sad or happy, but gonna see. So yeah,
that kind of reminds me. I watched multiple friends of mine are like, you have to watch this new movie. I can't tell you anything about it, but you have to watch it. So I watched it. You probably heard about it. It's called Saltburn. It's an Amazon Prime film that came out the last couple weeks. Yeah. It's weird in a not Danganronpa way, but Amazon billed it as a dark comedy, and I would say there's not a shred of comedy in it. I think it's a very good, very successful dark drama. I don't think it's trying to be funny. I think Amazon's just bad at selling their shows.
That's fair. That is entirely fair.
But it's very weird. It's very good. But
it's very good.
I don't want to.
Is it a mystery?
It is not a mystery.
It says psychological thriller. Is it a psychological thriller?
I would say that. Yeah, it says accurate.
Okay.
It's got really good acting. Yeah. It's definitely kind of gross.
In what way?
Gore? Not gore. I can't say anything without spoiling anything. I'm not saying the whole movie is not gross. There's just two specific scenes where the main character kind of like reveals things about themselves. You're like, oh, you're a little weirdo.
Is it body horror?
It's not body horror. It's not horror.
Okay.
That movie's not horror. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I like psychological thrillers, but the only time I ever get by them usually is some people like to make it more like psychosexual thrillers, and then I'm kind of turned off. But
yeah, I don't. There's definitely some sexual stuff. I wouldn't say. I don't know. It's hard to describe. It's on the line. That's fair. It's a good movie. Not like a great movie, but I'm not those people like you have to go out and see it. But it is interesting to think about and talk about.
Yeah, for sure.
Did you play anything else, Paul? Did you watch anything?
Those are the 4 main things I played. I'm looking at my list. I wrote down because I watched so much stuff. Is any of this worth talking about? I watched Dream Scenario, the Nick Cage film where he's just showing up in people's dreams.
Oh.
Like, the idea is, like, Nick Cage is in the movie, he's just a guy. And then, like, one day, people start, like, his kid's like, Dad, you were in my dream last night. I was, like, being chased and you didn't help me. He's like, oh, I didn't help you? That's weird. That's too bad. But it turns out everybody in the world, maybe not everybody, but pretty much everybody in the world is just having Nick Cage's character appear in their dreams. And so he's like a teacher at a college, and his kids are like, yeah, this is weird. Like, you're in my dreams, man. And so he becomes like this internet sensation. And then for some reason, and so that's the first third of the movie, and it's great, and it's funny. And then the second third of the movie, for some reason, Dream Him starts like very brutally killing these people. Like they become nightmares. People are having nightmares of him every night. And so, like all the kids stop coming to his class. Like he's trying to go to like diners. People are like, "You're making us uncomfortable. You gotta leave." He's like, "I'm not doing anything. Like I don't control these dreams. Like they're just dreams." Like, so that third is still very good, but not funny. It's kind of sucks to watch. And then the third third, the movie just doesn't really know how to end itself, and so I think the third third's kind of a failure. I guess the whole thing is supposed to be kind of like a metaphor for like white privilege, because like he's a white man, he becomes famous for doing nothing. And then, or sorry, not white privilege, like being white wokeness kind of stuff. So he gets all this stuff for being white, and then he gets kind of punished for being like famous and white for no reason. I don't think the metaphor works because
that's kind of weird.
Yeah, because like we see like for the metaphor to work, there's like oh yeah, I can sympathize with people being canceled now because they're being treated unfairly. From their perspective, they're doing nothing wrong and people are just being mean to them for no reason. And I'm like, that's what's happening in this movie. That's not what's happening in the real world. I agree that's what's happening from their perspective, but they are wrong.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it kind of falls apart. I was going to jokingly say it was written by somebody who woke up and had their spouse accuse them of cheating because they cheated on them in their dreams.
Very similar to that. That might be how the movie started getting written.
So... Oof. Yeah, that I can. Ooh, yeah, that I can. And unfortunately, like, how do you end that satisfactorily? Like, I don't.
Because the dreams just kind of stop happening, and so people just kind of forget about him. So he's like trying to write a book to be famous, and it's just like it's because he's not a sympathetic character. Like, there's definitely beats you're like, man, this sucks for him, but also he's kind of just a jerk. So I don't. Like, a lot of the stuff that happened, like, there are bad things that happened to him that he absolutely deserved and are the results of his own actions. Directly. Yeah. So, this is, it's not good. The movie's fine, but I didn't know it was produced by Ari Aster, who did, he directed Beau is Afraid and a couple other, like, psychological movies that are very well made, but also not happy good times that I kind of regret watching.
Gotcha.
And then I watched What If Season 2. I thought it was I don't know. It wasn't as good as it's not as memorable as Season 1.
That's fair.
Are all the episodes out?
I haven't even watched Loki Season 2, so I am super behind, but we'll get to that.
Season 2 was good.
I heard Season 2 was good. That's fair. Good. I heard it's still good though.
It's still better than most of the other Marvel shows.
Yeah, that's kind of what I've heard, so I just haven't watched it.
Yeah.
9 episodes. Okay.
Yeah, maybe there'll be a 10th one. I don't know. I watched Justice League Crisis on Infinite Earths Part 1. It's a DC Comics movie. It's okay. I feel like it's trying to be the Flash again, because the main character is the Flash, and he's like, oh, experiencing parallel worlds, and they have to stop things from happening. I don't know why it's a part 1, because it feels like it ended relatively cleanly to me. Like, there's not really any dangling threads I need wrapped up. Maybe there's something I should be invested in I'm not invested in, but I'm like, oh, it's fine, cool. Good job.
That's surprising. Well, like, it sounds like it didn't end on a cliffhanger, so that's kind of surprising.
I thought it'd
sorry,
be more
it's
of a
animated?
cliffhanger.
I missed that part. Okay.
Yeah. And also, this might be the first, for me anyway, this is the first film I saw with the new Batman voice actor. I don't know if he's the new, like, Batman in everything. Oh, I guess he has been in a bunch of other Batman things. His name's Jensen Ackles.
Oh, that's Jensen Ackles. That's
Soldier Boy. Supernatural, right?
That's right. Yes.
I think so. Yeah. Yes. That's exactly who it is. Yeah, how is he?
It's fine. I think it's so hard to be in the shadow of previous voice actors.
Yeah,
it's jarringly different. Like, objectively, it's probably not bad, but it is to me like, you're just talking like you smoked a pack of cigarettes. You know, it's like, I don't know.
That's too. I can see that. I'll have to take a listen. I think trying to be. And I think we've had some decent portrayals of live action Batmans. Not everyone's been good, but like Christian Bale's good. Robert Pattinson I thought was really good. Yeah. I'm kind of on the fence with even Ben Affleck. He's fine. And then also the earlier ones are pretty classic. He wasn't bad. I think Ben Affleck was just kind of given a shitty script, really. He's fine. Fair. He's just nothing special. But like, I feel like trying to be the new voice of like the animated Batman.
Those are bigger shoes to fill.
Yeah, that's a lot harder to do.
I feel like it's hard. Like, if you're doing live action, I think it's easier to be different, and if you're doing voice acting, it's harder to be different. Like, you are going to be different. You can't just try to do an impression. But
yeah, I feel like with animation,
even people are complaining about the new Rick and Morty voice actors, and those guys are pretty dang similar. Like, sure, you notice some differences, but like, I don't notice it most of the time.
Yeah, it does feel like with animation, you people expect like continuity.
Continuity, yeah, for sure. I know it's interesting. It's so funny though too. I'll have to take a listen to how he does it, because like the Harley Quinn TV show, their Joker. I mean, it's not Mark Hamill, but I don't know who does it. He does a pretty good job though. I mean,
is it
he's
Alan
not
Tudyk? No,
I think it is Alan Tudyk. I think you're absolutely right. Okay. It is Alan Tudyk. Yeah, and he does a good job.
He's
it's
not
good,
Mark
like funny Joker.
Yeah. He's a good like. He's a good comedic Joker. He's got the right intonation. He's saying ridiculous stuff, and I don't know if I'd want him in a serious like film, maybe, but like he does a good job. Better than the I don't know if they got a new voice actor, but I just remember when I was watching Young Justice, the person they had for Joker there was trying very hard. It was just a very different. I don't know who did it, but it was. Definitely someone I think that was trying to be different, which is totally fair, but it just did not come off right. But also, Joker was not meant to be a big part of that show, so it's kind of a weird moment.
Yeah, I think the key to Joker is you need to be able to do like the yelling, theatrical, like crazy voice, but you also need to talk. You need to be able to just like speak at a normal volume and not be doing too much.
Pretty much. So... But we'll see. I mean, honestly, it's interesting because, of course, in the Harley Quinn show, they also have the guy who did Batman and Batman Brave and the Bold.
DJ Bader.
Yes, and he's good, but of course, the way he does his voice, I think he's great. But I'm guessing they didn't want to use him just because he's only been in like comedic Batmans, even though he does it just fine.
They should use more Will Arnett, from Lego Batman.
Exactly. Oh man.
There's gonna be a Brave and the Bold movie, I think, or TV
really?
show. 2025, 2024, 2025.
What?
Yeah. That's amazing.
That's nuts. Because that show had.
I think Brave and the Bold's my favorite, probably animated show, a DC show.
I never saw all the episodes, but I had a friend who was obsessed with them. But from what I understand, I have some friends that had kind of knew a little bit more of the insider details in some of these shows. They weren't like part of it or anything, but they just kind of knew people who knew people. And apparently part of the issue with Brave and the Bold was that it came out basically at a bad time. It came out, I guess, like when people were kind of now more obsessed with like a serious, darker Batman as opposed to like a more funny, kitschy Batman. And so like it just was kind of the wrong place, wrong time. And that's why I didn't do so well. And had that apparently, I never watched it, but I guess it had a really serious episode that did really well. And then it just dropped. But I don't know much about it.
That
anyway, but yeah, that's crazy.
Because Steamboat Willie just became, public domain.
Yes.
And immediately there was one, and soon to be a second, like, horror movie based off of it.
Yeah.
In the same vein as Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
Yes.
And I'm not saying there shouldn't be horror movies, but what I really want is a gritty Steamboat Willie. Like, I don't want it to be gory or violent. I just want a very grounded, like, serious film. Like, if I don't catch these fish, the village is gonna starve. Just like something like just like real, like, sad and a downer, but with Steamboat Willie in it.
Honestly, I just want people to try anything. That was very
good.
That was very impressive. Put that on a reel, man.
Oh yeah.
I was just rolling my eyes because like I just get so annoyed that the only thing people can think to do with these properties immediately is horror, and it's like, guys, get some more ideas. At least that one is different. I know. It's just the bear. Anyway, it's partially because horror movies, I think, are some of the deceptively easier, less budget movies to make because there's a lot of camera tricks you can use to kind of whatever. But
I was also hearing that it's more appealing because there's like 10 times as many like horror indie film festivals as like regular film festivals, so it's easier just to get your stuff seen.
Yeah,
interesting.
I didn't think it does feel.
I don't know if it's true.
Now that you mention it, actually, it seems like there's a lot of indie horror films,
and there's a lot of indie horror games too. I don't know if there's like indie horror game festivals. Is it just because
horror is just a really popular genre, or?
Like I said, my main theory is that they are like traditionally lower budget than other films and games. I think too, like famously, the Silent Hill games, they utilize a limitation of the PlayStation 1 to make it horror, right? The draw distance and things like that. Exactly. So, like, I think there's still people that feel it has roots in this area of, like, we can use more darkness, so we don't need to spend as much time making something look realistic, whether it's through gaming or filming. And so I think horror, because I think horror was always kind of originally tied to like the indie scene. I mean, a lot of horror films, from what I understand, really started as horror indies, and a lot of breakout actors got their start in horror films. Paul Rudd.
Paul Rudd?
Yeah, I think. I mean, it's one of his first movies was in a horror film.
Jamie Lee Curtis? I mean, she's a bit of a nepo actress, but still first role horror.
Johnny Depp was also had one of his first breakouts in a horror film. So, it always kind of, I think, embodied the indie scene. And so I think in some ways people have just continued to kind of claim it that way. I also just wouldn't be surprised if like horror just feels like one of those genres that I say deceptively, because I think it's oversaturated now, but I feel like people think deceptively there's so much new things you can do with it. And like so much new creative things to try to do in like an indie sense. I mean, how many, I don't know about you, but how many indie films have you heard of that are not horror, that are all about like, this is a serious look at love? Like, there's a lot of them because they still think there's more ideas to come out with them. And maybe there are, but like, that's how it's always felt like to me with indie games and horror. It's always had its roots in kind of indie development, but I think also people feel there's just so much more newness you could still do with it. Even though, especially in the indie game scene, a lot of them just kind of churn out to be the same. Same stuff over and over again. So that's my theory.
Yeah, that makes sense. Because I also, maybe part of it is also like, the core seed of what makes horror good is the concept. So like, if you have a high budget or a low budget, if the concept's still good, maybe you feel like you have a better chance of success, however you measure that.
Yep. I mean, compared to, let's say, like a fantasy adventure, you need to have a good, fantasy adventure, you need a good setting. Otherwise, no one's going to believe you're in a fantasy adventure. Good costuming, exactly. And action, you need talented actors that can do certain things, right? You can't, they need to move in a certain way, so that costs more money. But yeah, so like horror, and then, kind of your like romantic dramas, I think, are some of the cheaper ones to do. And so, yeah, like you said, if you have a good concept, it doesn't, ideally the budget doesn't matter, which I do think is true. I think there's plenty. I do think like horror and, those kind of slice of life, whatever you want to call them, like dramas, I think you can do those without needing a high budget and they can be good. But I think horror interests more people these days.
Yeah. Yeah.
Makes sense. Yep.
That's pretty much it for me. I guess the one thing I wanted to mention, I haven't finished the first episode yet, but I did start watching Captain Laserhawk, a Blood Dragon remix.
What is that?
It's a Ubisoft TV show.
Yeah.
Animated. It's on Netflix, right? Netflix.
It's on Netflix. I think some of the same people who did Castlevania are involved. At least one of the Castlevania producers is the same.
Yeah. I think it's the guy that the showrunner for the first Castlevania.
That might be it.
The guy who did all those.
It's got a weird name.
Yeah.
Or a unique name. Not weird. Not bad.
Eddie Shankar.
Ada Shankar?
ADI, who's Indian.
Adi
Shankar, yeah.
So I'm partway through the first episode. I don't know. It's too early for me to have a conclusive opinion. I will watch more. It's only 6 episodes, so I'm just gonna watch the whole thing because it's not a big time thing.
Is it like funny, or is it trying to take itself seriously?
I'd say it's more funny. Like I don't know anybody in the world who's seen this movie. There's an animated film called Dead Leaves, and it reminds me of that more than anything else. Just like an irreverent, kind of ultra-violent cyberpunk movie.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. And,
wow,
and the Ubisoft characters will make an appearance, like that's Rayman and all that.
Rayman is like the news anchor, which is really funny to see.
Yeah, it's weird. They definitely turned up the weirdness on it for sure.
Yeah, I think it doesn't take itself seriously, which is good because it like some of the characters are like kind of like edgelordy, which is tolerable because I think they're poking fun of edgelords, right? They're not just like, this character's so cool, look how edgy they're. Like, no, this character's goofy, look how edgy they are.
They're saying it's based off of the Far Cry 3 Blood Dragon game.
Yeah,
that's why
I wanted to watch it.
Yeah, that's why I also did try to watch like the first couple episodes, but I was like, I don't really see it.
You didn't finish it?
No.
Yeah, other than the cyberpunkiness, like it's not very VHS-y. Yeah, it's not retro in the same way.
And it's not in the same world, I don't think. I'm not sure, honestly. I didn't finish.
I don't really know what world the video game took place in because there's only one island the whole time, so hard to say.
I mean, I guess it could be the same world, I suppose.
A completely different part of the same world. Yeah. So different, it might not be the same. Who knows? Who cares?
Yeah. Tell me what you think about it. I couldn't get through like after the second episode.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll see if I can. I've been on a very feast or famine diet lately of watching very bad and very good things. Like I didn't mention this because they're not new or relevant at all, but like I watched Drop Dead Fred for the first time, and then the next day I watched Seven Samurai. Like one of the worst movies of all time to one of the best movies of all time. So this show may be one of the worst shows of all time. We'll see.
I played some video games. I finished some video games actually during my my break. I finished Final Fantasy 16.
Oh, okay. What'd you think? You can hate it. I don't care.
So in the beginning, like I was like, yeah, they haven't lost their touch with the cutscenes. Like,
oh yeah,
the cutscenes are crazy, especially in the beginning. It's like it really that's that wow factor. Like, holy shit! Like it starts off really banging.
Yeah,
and then it just kind of like tapers off because I feel like it's a pretty shallow game, I feel. The combat is fun, but it's repetitive, and honestly, it's probably the least RPG-ish game of all the Final Fantasies I've ever played.
Oh no.
Yeah, it's very action. It's a very action game. It's more of an action-adventure game with a couple... it's like the character progression is so boring. It's... You have equipment, so you have like a couple, like your weapon and a couple of like armor slots and 3 accessory slots, and they mostly increase your stats. or reduce cooldown of something or increase the damage of something is really boring. It doesn't change the way you can play. And there's not a lot of like, it's basically, okay, you have this weapon now, and then you have to get the next stronger weapon. Like, that's it. Like, it's just, you get a stronger one, you get a stronger one, you get a stronger one, and that's it.
Yeah, they focus a lot more on the summon. They're not called summons, but like...
the icons, yeah.
Icons, yeah.
The leveling up, you literally just get stat boosts. That's it. Nothing else. And I'm like, what the... It's just, I don't know. With all the like crazy systems that previous Final Fantasies had, this one is so dumbed down. Like, it's so dumbed down. But like Sarah mentioned, they focused more on using the icons to change the way you play. So you get different icon powers as you play the game, and each icon, and you can only equip 3 icon powers at the same time, at one time, and you can switch on the fly in battle. And each icon will have its like, this icon is, you can teleport to the enemy. This icon you can block, and this icon you can, dash and stuff like that. So that is the main way you have to use to really change the way you play. I think you get like 7 or 8 different icon powers, but you can only equip 3. So also, I don't know. I just felt it was really dumbed down. The art style, I think, is good in a very like high fidelity way, but I wasn't really into the art style too much. It was very medieval, like fantasy, but very medieval. Like, it's very like,
Yeah, they were really focused on. I mean, that, and we knew that from the start.
Yeah.
They were really focusing on that. It's not as colorful.
Yeah,
it's not as bright colored.
Yeah, it's very. It's Game of Thrones. Like, I hate saying it. I know.
No. You're not wrong in saying that though, because that was their inspiration.
Yeah, and
they announced that was a big inspiration, which is not for everybody.
And I feel like to do a Game of Thrones type of thing, you really need strong writing and world building, and I don't think this game had that. I was confused about which nations are attacking which nations for a little bit, and they actually have an in-game like, I don't know what's the word, encyclopedia, I guess.
A codex,
I think.
Yeah.
To like, okay, this country is this, and this is location, and like, that's a lot of reading, man. Jeez.
Oh, yeah.
And they have like quite a few sections of like exposition and stuff, literally by a character explaining to your character, which is just explaining to you, basically. And I'm like, oh, God. And it's just... Also, very limited party members. It's a very much a solo game.
Yeah,
I'm gonna say
the
this.
party members are not the same.
I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm not the expert or authority on this, but it does not feel like a Final Fantasy game at all. Honestly. From what we've had so far. Like, even 15 felt a bit more like Final Fantasy because you had party members. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's not like a bad game or anything, but it's just, I was disappointed.
I'll be curious to see what they make after this, because 15 was in a weird spot. 13 already was making things in a weird spot with people. And 15 kind of left people in the same way. 16 was definitely, I think you got some people who were... It's interesting, because it was made by the same person who leads 14. And there's a lot of, like...
I've heard that, but like, Yoshi P, right?
Yep.
He's only a producer. He's not the director.
Yeah, but
he's not like the
he's not,
designer,
but a lot of
stuff.
his... He's not, but a lot of the people on his 14 staff, the music guy, I think the battle direction, he did take from 14. So I don't know about the writers. I don't remember looking into that necessarily.
So the main writer is Kazutoyo Maehiro, and he's worked on quite a few games.
That's
but
not
this is his
14.
first, literally. And yes, he's worked on 14. He's worked on from A Realm Reborn up to Endwalker.
Got it. Yep. Okay.
He was the main scenario writer a couple of times, main battle system designer a couple of times for certain games. But this is the first time he's ever been creative lead for a mainline Final Fantasy game.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just...
I'll be curious to see because I think we're going to either see, I think next time, more of this direction.
Yeah, I'm
for Final Fantasy,
I already know they're going to keep this direction. The sales are pretty good, and honestly the reviews are pretty good too. Mm-hmm. But I feel like Final Fantasy 16 is them trying to chase other games. If I'm because big AAA games, you kind of expect them to be like God of War. They're like big narrative, epic, linear, and I feel like it's their way. It's like they're kind of chasing that. I feel like, I don't know, but I've always felt like it's like I feel like they're trying to make it mainstream. Am I making sense? Like,
I think so. Yeah,
because
but I don't think you're wrong necessarily.
Really popular. They're still kind of niche-y. Like, they're still very Japanese-y. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I don't think you're wrong in that. But I think 16 is the most obvious way of them showing that, but I think it's been going in that direction for a while. Yeah. I mean, when people talk about, like, wanting to go back to the old ways of Final Fantasy, they were saying that since, I think, 13, which isn't to say that they're wrong. I'm just saying more of, like, it's not too surprising that we're at this point. I mean, a lot of people talk about now, if you want the classic, like Final Fantasy experience, you got to look to things like, what's the famous Time Warp game on the DS?
Time Warp game?
Bravely Default. Bravely Default.
Right.
Sorry.
Yeah.
You know,
that
kind of stuff.
Making like more classic Final Fantasy stuff, but
right.
I just want like, you know, a huge budget type of, you know what I mean?
There's the have you done the 7 remake at all?
Oh, I did play remake, and the next one is what, Rebirth or something? Yeah, I'll probably play that too.
Yeah, I don't know if it's they had a spin-off game, but I don't know if the second one's come out yet, but I know it's coming out.
Yeah, it's coming out.
Yeah. I mean, those ones from what I've heard are kind of more, I think, potentially what you're looking for. So they might be doing it that way, maybe. Everyone's hoping for all these remakes of the older ones into that kind of.
I'm hoping for remakes where I don't have to buy multiple games to play the one
sections
game.
Of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I know. God. Yeah, I mean, like it's fascinating to see because the only reason, I mean, first of all, they're doing it because they can get away with it, and make a fuck ton of money.
It's Final Fantasy 7.
Yeah, that's the real reason they're doing it. Yeah. But also, I know that the original Final Fantasy VII, what they couldn't do in graphic and gameplay stuff, they made up for it with text, lots and lots of text. So part of it, I think, is them also trying to compensate for that. Not that they need 4 games to do it, but like,
are they making 4 games?
That's what I last heard, but maybe I'm wrong. Last I heard it was 4, because last I heard it was people kind of, maybe they're not. I don't know if they've officially said they're making 4 games, but I think that was the prediction because there were 4 discs, and the first game kind of took place over the first disc. But I could be wrong. But 4 was the last number I heard, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. So yeah, Final Fantasy 16 is just. I would have liked it more if it wasn't called Final Fantasy. You know what I mean? Like, it was just a new IP or whatever. But yeah, this is the direction they're going to be going in, and I'll still be playing it, so I'm part of the problem. But it's not like I'm going to be, like, my one purchase is going to, like, sway anything, so fuck it.
There you go.
Honestly, the writing and story was just... The word's not childish. The word is not immature. It's like, I don't know, like... Amateur. That's one thing.
Amateur?
Yeah, I don't know. It's slavery bad. The game, like, it's just slavery bad. Okay, thanks, Japan.
There was something. God, it's funny. It's not funny, but it's kind of funny. So Yoshi P was under super hot water before the game came out because people were asking about people of color because they noticed all the characters were white, and he was he. The problem is, like, I will never know the full context of what he said because it was translated into English. Yeah. But like, he mentioned something about like they were taking things place in a medieval world, and so they had a blah blah blah, had a certain vision. Of course, everyone's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" Now knowing what we know about the game, it's more like. I think he was trying to avoid, because the slavery is such a huge aspect of the game's lore. It's like, I think you were trying to just avoid something.
But also, like you said, translation, blah, blah, blah. I'm not trying to put words in his mouth.
Oh,
Japan don't give a shit about anybody else other than Japanese and the whites. Get over it.
Oh, no, that's very true.
They are racist. Yeah. That's just how they are. Fucking get over it. Like, do not expect Japanese developers, Japanese whatever, to represent anybody properly. Like, it's Japan. Like, is this news? Is this new? Jesus Christ.
People like to, yeah, I know. It's a thing.
Like, holy shit. It's
their
whatever.
Their colorism is, I know, their colorism is
honestly,
their color and racism.
Make your own thing.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah, like, like, don't expect the Japanese to, it's Japan, man. Like, so yeah, I don't know. I reached the point where I just want to finish this game. The side quests are also boring as hell.
The side quests are pretty bad.
It's pretty, like, unfortunately, MMO fetch quests type of thing.
Yep. And like I said, a bunch of us who were 14 fans were like, "Ah, fuck." Like,
it's very pretty. The game is very pretty.
It's very pretty, like, and the battles are very cinematic.
Yeah, yeah.
The battles are very cinematic,
especially the icon summon battles. That one's basically. But the icon summon battle, like you said, they've been trying to do this. I feel like they've been trying to do this ever since the Final Fantasy VII Advent Children movie came out. Like that crazy cinematic epic battles. They tried it with 13, kind of.
Yeah.
And then 15 was like a very, very, like, and then Versus 13 was them trying to get closer. And that turned into 15. And 15 was a very weird combat where, I think I mentioned this before, I just didn't understand if it's turn-based or it was like a very weird mishmash of both. It wasn't really turn-based.
They were trying to
do
really
both,
action. Yeah.
And it was it felt sluggish and slow, and it was just, And 16, I feel like, is further evolution of what they've been trying to do, which is Final Fantasy VII Advent Children. That's what they're trying to do.
Yeah. I will say, in my opinion, and definitely I'm not saying this is necessarily fun for everybody, but like, if you're gonna make what's the term when you have to like press the button in time?
QTE.
QTE. Now, I think as a whole, QTE is a very mixed feelings on that in video games in general. I felt as for having QTEs, this was probably one of the better presentations of it.
I mean, that's the one thing they're good at, like the cinematic.
Yeah, but the cinematic of the QTE and like how they use the QTE, I think is probably one of the better ways I've seen it done. But that's for QTEs.
Yeah. But also a couple of the QTEs, you know how they there's like one specific type of QTE in the game where everything just starts flashing orange. That was too much. That was just... it's the time where you had to press the button multiply a lot and it just started to flash orange. Like, it's fucking I think some people can't actually play those parts. It's just way too much. Chill down with that.
Oh yeah.
But stop. They made the screen shaking and everything. It's just crazy. That one was too much. But yeah, overall, the QTEs were actually pretty decent.
Yeah, surprisingly, in my opinion, I was shocked to see it.
I was shocked when there was QTE. I was like, really?
Yeah. But I was like, okay, but the way they make it, but yeah, it's definitely more of a cinematic video game experience, which I think has been the direction Final Fantasy's wanted to go for a minute, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but we'll see.
It does feel like, it does feel like FF16 was a lot of we might see better execution in 17 with whatever they've learned in 16. I feel like 16 is just very early proof of concept type of thing or something.
We'll see. We shall see. Like you said, it's very pretty.
Yeah, it is a very pretty game. Slavery bad, the game. Final Fantasy 16.
Yes. Yeah. Thankfully, slavery is bad.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think
keep that one.
I definitely feel like they were in the writer's room and then high-fiving each other, patting each other on the back. Good job on making slavery look bad in this game. I guess.
They did it.
Jesus Christ. I also played Returnal, which is I'm not sure if I want to say triple A. It looks triple A, but it's basically like a roguelike game. by
okay. Sounds familiar.
Was it Housemarque? Like it was like a smaller studio that was bought over by Sony, and it's like a full price $60 game. So that's why I was it's AAA. So it's a AAA roguelike. Like it's really pretty too. It's like and not easy. It's not an easy roguelike. At one point I was at the last boss. I died and I was like, and I had one more try. And I was like, I don't think I can finish this game. And then I beat the boss right after that. So it's just, it's really satisfying and it's just quite difficult. And I finished the game, but I haven't like unlocked everything. I'm not gonna do that. But it's a really good time if you like roguelikes. It's a shooter roguelike. There's a bit of melee. But what I like about it is it's pretty. It has a creepy atmosphere a lot of times because you're in an alien world, and the narrative plot is quite abstract and it's quite interesting. Like, not trying to spoil anything, but it's one of those people have analysis videos of it, analysis video essays. It's quite interesting. Get it if it's like 50% off. Basically. I tried a little bit of Valheim. Valheim recently. Tried a little bit of that. Solo for now. I just played like 3 hours, I guess. Just trying to like understand the world. I built like a really shitty house. But oh my god, that game really do not like to hold your hand. I have no idea. It's just I need some
It's walking that line of like things being boring and frustratingly hard, but also because of that, everything feels worthwhile and valuable when you accomplish it.
Yeah. So I'm just trying to figure things out, like figure out how the game actually works and stuff. But yeah, haven't really. I'll probably try to put more time into it. But the one that I put a lot of time into, which is another survival game, I guess, is Dismantle. So it's spelled weird, like DYSMANTLE. So it's like an isometric sort of survival zombie post-apocalypse type of game, but it's more of a play it and listen to a podcast type of game where you can basically destroy like 99% of the world is what they advertise, and you kind of can do that. You just need like stronger weapons for the more like stronger things to destroy, and that's how you get your materials. It's a very cozy survival game, which is weird, but there's no hunger, thirst, whatever. Like, the enemies in the beginning was pretty difficult, but after you've gotten like better equipment, they're pretty trivial. It's just fun to like destroy shit. But I'm at that point where I basically just stopped playing. There is a narrative to it. I stopped playing. Maybe once in a while I will go back to it, destroy some shit, maybe try to finish it. But like I put like 60 hours into it, so I got my money's worth.
Oh wow.
Yeah. It's just after work, my brain is like very close to zero.
Yeah, I understand.
I put it on.
Yeah, did you beat the narrative?
Not yet. I'm very close. But I after 60 hours of just smashing things, because I put in like 40 hours in the first 4 days. So that's a lot. So, and then there's DLCs, like there's pets and stuff, different dungeons and all that. I bought them because like, I spent 60 hours on your game and I enjoyed it, and I feel like, you know what, just take my money. Fuck it. Don't spend it on like hate organizations or whatever. Yeah, it's play it, turn down the volume, put a video on, put a podcast on. That's just, just a nice, relaxing game with zombies in it. That's pretty much all I did. Watch The Boy and the Heron. Yeah, that's pretty much it. We can do like 5 minutes of news.
All right. What you got?
I have 3 stories. All of them about layoffs.
Oh, yep. Fun.
Yep. So Amazon Twitch is cutting 500 employees, which is 35%. Unity is cutting 1,000, which I believe is like 20% or 25%. And
geez.
Discord is laying off 17%. Yeah, 170.
Oh, I didn't hear about Discord.
170
I heard about
employees.
Discord.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm surprised you
They
didn't
still have
mention
job
Wizards of the
openings
Coast.
on LinkedIn.
Is it the season or something?
Wizards of the Coast, like they famously, before the holidays, fired a whole shit ton of people.
Oh,
yeah.
Hasbro did it. Yeah,
Hasbro. Yeah,
Hasbro
yeah. It's just
it
was Hasbro, but it affected Wizards of the Coast immensely.
So, they laid off a lot of people from all their divisions. Yeah, Hasbro did that too. Right before Christmas.
Yep. Yep, right before the holidays. And yeah,
did you
we all
remember
kind of
reading
went,
anything
what
about
the
like
fuck?
some sort of like severance package or something like that?
I don't.
Christmas pizza, maybe? I don't know.
Probably just a lot of pizza.
Yeah.
Hasbro Wizards of the Coast layoffs. Let's see.
If I'm not mistaken, last year was, in terms of layoffs, a record year in the tech/gaming industry. And
and
it was the highest earning year of the gaming industry as well.
Yeah.
So, yay.
Yep, December 11th, announced to be laying off 1,100 staff members.
I'm not sure if they're doing this now because their financial year ends in April, so they want to increase the whatever it is they wanted to increase for the stakeholders, whatever holders.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sounds like...
Oh, fuck you, Forbes. Forbes is trying to be like, Hasbro is having a hard struggle, but then they also were like, well, but also, things related to Wizards of the Coast, I guess, did pretty well. It's like, fuck you guys.
I thought the movie did pretty well, actually, right?
The movie did okay. It didn't,
Sales
I
for
think,
the cards
do as well.
Did not slow down or anything, right? I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, from what I understand, like, the movie did decently well enough. I think I genuinely these days cannot tell you, like, how the fuck, like, they determine a movie does well and doesn't do well anymore, because I swear to God, it just depends on what people think.
They definitely look at, the box office, that's one. But also, from what I've heard, actually, the D&D merchandise did not do well.
I see.
The toys and
that's one of the...
Yeah.
And it's Hasbro, so it's, like, one of the number one things they look into.
Like the number one,
yeah.
Like,
I would have considered buying some. I remember looking at it. It just didn't look good.
It didn't. Yeah, I saw the toys on the shelves and I looked at Chris Pine like, that does not look like Chris Pine. Chris Pine, right? It's Chris Pine?
Chris Pine.
Chris Pine? Yeah, you got it.
Yeah.
You got it.
I was going to buy Holga, but yeah, didn't look good.
Yeah, the faces was... I don't understand it with Hasbro. Some figures, the faces look identical to... Like, I have the Green Goblin from No Way Home. Fucking, like... what's his name?
Willem Dafoe?
Willem Dafoe.
But that's like one of their like it's like a different Toyland almost.
Yeah, it's
like
a deluxe
fig.
Yeah, it's a deluxe.
That's what it is.
Yeah. And like, oh my god, I looked at Willem Dafoe. I was like, you're so much hotter than Chris Pine right now. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, there was a lot of weirdness about, like, because the movie itself, excellent, high tier, like, well done, high quality, but like everything,
It's
everything
Daredevil.
else.
I don't know. It's okay.
It's
not great.
Yeah, but I get it. I think it's
so I didn't mean to interrupt Sarah. Sarah was in the middle of a thing.
Oh yeah, okay.
I was just gonna say that, like, but it feels like so many other things around the movie. Like, I think the marketing was good, but like, because that movie was coming right on the heels of the whole OGL thing I talked about like 6 months ago, I think there was a lot of like tight, like, pull back on some of the things they could have done to make this movie, like, just with the stuff they need to run this movie better, maybe including the toys, and they just didn't. I don't know. It's just, the whole thing was very strange.
Like, I think it's fair that you said the deluxe figure has a better face. But their normal figures ain't that cheap anyway, so it's just...
Right. I mean, there's not an excuse for the...
Yeah, and I feel like they do broadcast out like, oh, we have new realistic face technology. Yeah, use it on all your figures.
Right? Because like, yeah, send us turn yourself into an action figure. You know
that.
So they're trying to do that sort of thing. But
that one stopped too. Like, it wasn't like, it did not get a lot of good.
I didn't. I was like, I'm not the target audience for this. That looks dumb.
My face do not look good in anything other than my own body. I feel like, so it's just... I'm not gonna put my head on like Spider-Man or anything. I'm good. Or Power Rangers. I think everybody would be okay as Stormtroopers. Just the fodder.
The helmet on.
The fodder. Yeah. I'll just get a stormtrooper. Like, yeah, this is me. Yeah, lots of layoffs. That's
yeah, so many.
Other than that, not much else in terms of industry news, I guess. A couple of interesting stuff. So Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, which is a new Ubisoft 2D platformer Prince of Persia game, is actually getting really good reviews, and it's because the team behind the Rayman Legends made this. So it's a Rayman Legends. Unfortunately, on PC, I believe it's only on Epic at the moment, so you probably have to wait for it to come to Steam. I mean, you can buy it on Ubisoft, but yeah. But it's getting really good reviews. And the other one was that I saw that was pretty interesting. It's based off a manga, so it's a new Bandai Namco published game. Not sure about the developer. Let me see quickly. Ilka, I think they made the One Piece World Odyssey. Is it One Piece Odyssey game? So this new game is called Sandland. It's a manga by Akira Toriyama, Dragon Ball guy. And it's really interesting. It looks really nice. And it's like, it's all about like desert, you don't have water, and the focus is customizing your vehicles. You can have mechs, you can have tanks and stuff, and that's how you do battle. It's like an action-adventure RPG. They say RPGs, not sure how much RPG there is to it. You play like a demon child, a demon king, prince boy, and when you see the designs, you'll be like, yeah, that's Akira Toriyama straight away. He has that one style, which is very recognizable. So
he could draw one thing. Thankfully, it's a very iconic thing.
Yeah. Thankfully for him, it's iconic. Yeah. So there's like I'm not sure how. There's only been like the release date trailers, but there's like some base building to it as well. I think you like try to build up a colony or something. It looks pretty interesting actually. I might get this one. Looks pretty interesting. That's pretty much it. Don't think there's any other news that I saw that was interesting. Anybody else saw anything?
Not really. They released Apollo Justice for Steam PC, and they're releasing just a lot of they're just releasing a lot of like behind the scenes info. And so I never finished. I never even finished the second case of the first Great Ace Attorney game. I need to try that game again.
Great Ace, yeah.
Great Ace Attorney. I know. Yeah. One of my friends like just blitzed through it. She had never played it before, and now I'm like, fuck, I actually need to play it because I'm the one who introduced her to Ace Attorney. So now I feel like
I understand. I couldn't get through Great Ace. Like the second case, I think.
Yep, I'm in the second case. You and I have talked about this. We have the exact same problem. Too many fucking lines, too many text boxes. Yep. Shorten the dialogue for the love of God. Yep. Anyway, but I'm going to try to get through it.
Dialogue. That's the problem.
It's not. I'm like when I finally got to the part where like Herlock Sholmes is like explaining his minigame, which it's a fun minigame. I want to play it. And I'm like, let me just try the thing. Stop explaining things. Oh God, it was so frustrating. Anyway, I need to try that game again because it's in the series. But anyway, the reason I just say that is like they're doing all this announcing stuff, and so the last time they did like a push like this, I think Great Ace Attorney was announced to be ported or translated, because before Great Ace Attorney came out a while ago in Japan, and then much later they got it translated to English for the Switch. And so I'm hoping that maybe something's coming up. I don't know, but I'm crossing my fingers. So we'll see. Yeah, but
I'll probably get it on like a physical edition for the Switch, because I actually don't have the Apollo games for my DS.
Yeah, I have for the DS. Although I don't. I lost my games 1 and 2 on the DS because one of my friends was borrowing them and never gave them back to me. But I got them. I got the trilogy on either the Switch or the 3DS. I bought them all again at some point. So like, I have it if I want to. it's fine. It's not a big deal to me. But so I'll be curious to see. But yeah, all this news coming up makes me think if something's going to get announced. But I need to try to finish those games because they're well known. They've got their own mythos and things like that. But God, so much fucking text, which I know is ironic for me to say about a Phoenix Wright game, but I swear to God, the old games are not like this.
The old games were way better. The Great Ace games, I don't know, just felt...
I liked the 3DS games. I actually really liked the 3DS games, but these ones...
You know, I really hope they do the Miles investigation ones.
I hope they translate the second one. Yeah. That's what I'm hoping for. They translate the first one. The first game was okay, but the second game I heard was excellent. Now, I have the PC port for it with a fan translation. I just never played it because trying to play a PC port of a DS game, I don't know about you all, but it's fucking weird. Yeah. And I, after a while, was like, okay, this is too weird. So that would be my dream. If they did that, day one, I'm buying it. Because I've heard good things about the first one was a little weird, but the second one I heard was
I did remember
really
playing
good.
The first one because it was officially translated, right?
Yes, the first one was officially translated to the languages, because it's not just English. They translate all over the place. But the second one was only in Japan, because the first one didn't sell as well. So they're like, well, we won't translate this one. And we're like, but that's the good one! It talks about his, like, dad and stuff like that, and all that stuff. So, crossing my fingers.
So I think we can wrap up. Just one last thing. Gearbox is also firing a bunch of people, so yeah.
Did you hear about the like Portal 2 or Portal 1 port to N64?
It got like DMCA or something, right?
It did.
Yeah.
I think Valve asked them to take it down because they were afraid of Nintendo being crazy. Nintendo.
Right.
Valve
Valve is cool with it. They're like, I don't want to mess with Nintendo because Nintendo are crazy motherfuckers. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I think I shared this on the group. There's like a Portal 2 mod that's like available as a separate download on Steam.
You did. I need to check it out still.
It looks really cool. What is it called again?
I don't remember the name.
Portal Revolution?
Portal Revolution. Yeah.
Port Revolution.
It looks like it's getting really good reviews. So, and it's free because it's a mod to Portal 2, I believe. So yeah, that's nice. So if it's a Portal 2 mod, you should be able to play co-op. Hopefully.
Oh, if the level supports it, that'd be interesting.
So it's apparently like a prequel. So it's in between Portal and Portal 2. New story, new characters. 5 to 7 hours. So that's nice. Most important thing is how the puzzles play out. So yeah, maybe we'll play it someday. I'm not sure. So yeah, I think we can wrap up.
All right. We doing the thing?
Do the thing.
This is Sarahscopic, Sarahscopic. These days I'm mostly playing a lot of D&D with my wife. I don't have anything going on yet, but I might change that. Yeah, streaming mostly on Twitch. So that's
on
mainly what's... No, it's on hers, so Escalia, Eskalia, if you want to watch her content. I don't know if I'm going to be doing anything. I've been thinking about it, but we'll see.
And I'm Foehamner. I think last podcast I mentioned I'd filmed something. Still haven't edited it. It is in my queue. I've edited other things. Right? It's a very short, like under a minute long sketch. It's very dumb.
That's the best kind.
But maybe Cocoon will be coming up soon. We'll see. Don't hold your breath.
And I'm Pupunoob. Mostly on honestly not even Instagram now. I haven't uploaded much on there. I mean, I did upload like this guy on Instagram. This guy, the Headless Horseman. He's so cool. But yeah, I'm just worried about my move, so I'm not doing much.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
So yeah, this has been episode 211 of the playonultra podcast. Thank you very much for watching and listening. We will see you next time. Bye.